Good morning. Good morning. I wanted to hop on really quickly and give a brief thought on the subject of tears. When you think about tears, when I think about tears personally, I think about different times in my life when I've teared up and then tried to dry it up real quick because I don't know why. I heard Annie F. Downs talk about things that are caught versus taught, and I don't think anyone ever taught me that tears were bad or tears were a sign of weakness. But I wasn't naturally emotional growing up. I didn't naturally show a lot of emotion. So when I cried, I always thought it was a sign of weakness or instability, and I wanted to be strong, and I wanted to be independent, and I wanted to be fierce. And so if I did cry, I wanted to dry it up real quick. So anyway, I don't know why I thought that, but for a lot of my young adulthood, I definitely tried to hide my tears or blink them away really fast. Tears were not something that I was comfortable, and I guess I wasn't comfortable being that vulnerable and just being like, yeah, I need to cry about this. But you know what I've noticed as I've gotten older is that I don't cry because I'm weak. I don't cry because, I can't do something. When I am overcome with tears and emotion, it's because God is either doing something in my heart or I'm just happy. A Sunday we were singing a song in church called I Speak the Name of Jesus. And there was nothing major going on in my life that made me overcome with emotion, but singing that song made me tear up because I'm just so thankful for him. I'm so overcome with gratitude for what he's done in my life and in my family's life. And sometimes we associate tears with weakness when that's just not true. I'm doing this Bible study called Jesus and Women, and it's by Christy McClellan, and one of the lessons in there was talking about tears, and I have never heard this before, and it just made me stop in my tracks, and I stopped. There's an audio companion, and I stopped, and I rewound it and listened to it again, and you know what she said? She said that tears in the Bible during historical times, when people would go off to war, the men would go off and fight the war, the women would put their tears in a bottle and would preserve them and then show them to them when they got back. And that was like an offering to them to pour out their tears for them, to show them how much they missed them and they mourned them. And so when you think about tears being kept in a bottle because that was their sign of, this is me giving this to you, this is me showing you this, I never had heard that before. So when you think about even at the Last Supper, the pouring out of the bottle of tears, as she wiped his feet with her tears, I've always thought she was just crying a lot. But I think she was literally pouring them out. And if you think about different times in the Bible when it says there is another reference to, I don't have it with me, that talks about your tears in a bottle, and I've never understood that. I thought it was just like an analogy or something. But they literally kept their tears in a bottle. If you think about Esther, when she went before the king, it said she bent down and she was overcome with tears. If you think about Hezekiah going before the king, asking for the people to be returned from Babylon, he was overcome with tears. God can use tears in our life not because we're weak, not because we're not strong enough to deal with something. God gives us tears in our life when we are happy, when we are joyful, when we are so overcome with our mission for him that like Esther, she was overcome. She was grieving the potential loss of her people. And she bent down, overcome with the emotion and the mission. Her mission was so great. Hezekiah's mission was so great. If you look in the Psalms, David was overcome with tears many, many times. And there's some beautiful examples of it. And just because someone cries doesn't mean they're sad. Sometimes it means they're happy. Sometimes it just means that they're just crying. And sometimes we think, someone will say, I'm sorry, I'm a crier. Or I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm crying about this. And I think we just need to stop that. Part of that's in our culture. Part of that's, I don't know, part of that's American. Part of that's 2024. I don't know. We don't want to show any sign of weakness. No vulnerability. But we just need to stop that language. So the next time you think to yourself, I got to dry this up. I got to be strong for people around me. Think about Mary pouring her tears before the Lord. When it says she washed his feet with her hair and with her tears, go back and read that passage. Go back and read in Esther. Go back and read the Psalms. Lisa Harper talks about the Psalms being God's Spotify list. And if God's Spotify list is full of tears, then I think he wants us to use them. I think it's okay that we use them. So, maybe you don't need this today. Maybe you have no problem crying. For me, it was something as an adult I really had to get comfortable with because it wasn't natural for me to cry. It was not natural for me to show that level of emotion publicly. And it's something God has gently had to teach me over time, and gently had to teach me that it's not all sad. It's not all bad. Sometimes we just need to cry before him. Sometimes it's on your knees in prayer. Sometimes it's on the altar with a friend. Sometimes it's just because you're happy. It's just because you're singing a song about, I speak Jesus, and you're just so happy. Because he's done so much for you and for your family and in your life. So I hope this was a blessing to you. This thought has been on my mind for the last couple of weeks of God can use tears in a way that we think is bad or a way that we think is showing our weakness. It's not showing our weakness. It's showing our strength in him. Have a great day, friends. I'm praying for you today. Bye.